Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I have a message coming to you which is always being inspired with whatever's going on in my life. But today's message is all about the fact that nothing speaks louder as to your character than that of your generosity. And I'm hoping that what I have to share with you guys today re-inspires you to have an abundant mindset with all of your resources. You know, when I'm talking about generosity today, I'm not just talking about financial generosity. Sometimes we can get so limited by focusing on thinking that generosity just means this financial generosity, but I want to make sure that all of you guys are realizing that that is just merely one of your resources, and there is a whole myriad of resources that you have the opportunity to be generous with, and I want to talk in why you want to be doing that. So you can be generous with your time, your energy, your money, your advice, your support, you know, your kindness, your love, all of it. And it has been my experience so far in my life that, you know, unless we are fully generous in all of our resources, there's always something missing. We always feel like there's something missing. There's something that we're holding back. We feel we're not living to our highest potential. And I'm starting to really believe that living to our highest potential is really your ability to be wholly generous in all that you do, in every single one of your resources. And the way that we do that is we actually get outside of our limited mindsets, our scarcity mindsets. We transform that into an abundant mindset, because at the end of the day, most people are trying to hold on to what they've got. They think that if they give something, they lose something. And that is the pathway to unfulfillment, you know, that we can't be happy when we know we're holding something back that could be supportive, that could be, that could make somebody's day. And we get caught up in that mindset and we wonder why we're so unfulfilled. We wonder why life feels pretty empty. We wonder why we're always scared of losing something. Comes from that scarcity mindset. And a lot of people, you know, have looked at, I've got a lot of comments from different people in my life and outside of it who have looked at, you know, even the simple thing for me of doing daily Facebook Lives with you guys every single day for over a year now. Or, you know, the time that I spend, and I go into way extra time in my programs and with my clients, and people can, you know, look at that and think, oh, you know, you're giving too much, you know, shouldn't you hold something back? You know, should you be doing that, you know, and getting kind of into that scarcity mindset. And I like to think of this in this way. I really feel like if I was not generous with my time and with my desire to be of value, then I wouldn't have the clients, the amazing clients that I get to work with each and every day. I wouldn't have you guys watching these videos, you know. I wouldn't have the kind of connections, I wouldn't have the kind of depth if I wasn't generous with my time and my energy and my desire to be of value. And just this morning, I got to meet a couple of brilliant, beautiful superstars of human beings. You know, they've been kind of in communication with me for the past year. Kind of, you know, having some possible ideas as to how they might see me coming into their business. And for the past year, I've kind of been a bit off the grid in terms of anything outside of really building what I'm trying to do and my mission. And we've had back and forth sort of conversations, you know, each way. And, you know, but I actually finally met them this morning, and they very generously took me out for breakfast and, you know, took up their time and invited me out. And it was persistence, and it was also generosity. The fact of generosity in terms of time, in terms of kindness, in shouting breakfast, you know, just a small gesture. But, you know, it's kind of those things, and generosity in terms of presence, you know, their true desire to want to look into my world and ask me some questions about what I want, what are my dreams, what are my aspirations, where do I want to take things. You know, to have people be generous with their presence, with their time, with their energy, with their effort, and sometimes, you know, also with their finances, you know, to be able to shout breakfast or whatever it is, that to me speaks so much of their character. And they're the kind of people I want to be surrounded by. So it's super important to realize that, you know, whenever you are generous with any resource that you have, it does not go unnoticed. Okay, so I look at generosity in the fact of two sides of it. First of all, I want to give my all. No matter what it is, I want to give it all. I know that anything that I leave inside this tank, it just doesn't, it kind of starts to weigh me down. You know, instead of, hey, if I've got it, I'm going to give it. If I've got an opportunity here to make a difference in any small way, if I've got an opportunity to make another happy or smile or make them feel good about themselves or, you know, build them up and show them their potential or whatever it is in any small way, if I get an opportunity come in front of me to be able to be generous with any of my resources, I choose to be generous. I choose to be open and I choose to give my all because I know what happens when I don't. I feel it. I feel I'm holding back. And particularly in your relationships, never get into that mindset of, you know, they don't deserve your love. They don't deserve your all. The moment you give your all is the moment you are actually of service to another human being, and you inspire the best out of them. You inspire their greatness to love somebody even though they feel unlovable or that they shouldn't be lovable or that other people would treat them very differently in that moment. That is one of the most beautiful gifts that we can ever give to other human beings in our lifetime. So always be generous with your love as well. And definitely, you know, definitely go on this journey of being your highest, most generous self as possible. So I definitely also want to make sure that you guys are definitely in the monthly masterclasses for the Limitless Potential Academy. Oh my God, I'm super excited about delivering the very first training with that on the 13th of June. Make sure that you are definitely enrolled. I do not want you to miss out. If you are somebody who loves self-development, you love learning, but you really want to be able to take the action and get the value out of what you really learn, then you definitely want to be a part of the monthly masterclasses. So register above, link is up above. I can't wait to deliver that very first training for you guys and everything in between, everything that I've got in store for you guys there. Oh my God, super excited. Click on the link and definitely want to check in with you guys. So if you've got any questions or comments, feedback, or you just want to say hi, I'd love to hear from you guys. So definitely check in with me. But I've got Mitchell and Sam's here. Awesome. And Jay, my bro's in the house. I love it. And Carolina and Brian, nice to see you. And thank you for your kind compliments there, Sam. And Eugen is here. And yes, we definitely missed Jay, didn't we, Sam? I love it. And Judy's here. And Jonathan, my muse for today. Thank you, my friend. And yes, love it. And Adolfo and Ruiti, hello to you. And Misty, what happens when you're done being generous with all? I don't think it ever stops. And you know, that's the kind of mindset we can get trapped in when we think that our resources are so limited. If you don't have the money, the finances to be generous in that way, what else have you got? Your resources for generosity are completely unlimited. It just takes perception. It just takes thinking outside the box. And I guarantee anytime you think you've overdone it with generosity, there's always something more. But I will say this. We need to have, and this is the tricky part, right? We need to realize at times that people can take advantage of our generosity. And we also, coupled with being a truly generous person, we have to also couple that with being discerning. So if you've found yourself being overly generous with somebody all the time, Firstly, I want you to make sure that it's coming from a place of love. You've got something to give. You've got the opportunity. Why wouldn't you? Versus coming from fear. Fear is giving to get. And if you come with generosity, which is just really just giving to get something in return, it's not going to work out for you. You absolutely are going to feel depleted going down that track. And also, if people in your life that you feel like you're really genuinely, giving and being generous, you might get to a certain point over time where that person you're starting to see, this is actually diminishing your self-belief, your self-trust, because you can see that this person isn't respecting you, maybe utilizing that in a negative way and taking advantage of you. You've got to learn how to be discerning, and you're going to get burnt. But at the end of the day, I like to think, why wouldn't I give my all? And if I get burnt along the way, at least I'm not holding back. At least I have built that muscle to be truly generous with all of my resources, and I can be discerning enough to learn the lessons and direct it to the people who absolutely cherish it, respect it, appreciate it. So it's a whole journey, but I hope that answered your question, Misty. I so appreciate your questions, as you guys know. And Rowiti, I'm doing really well. Hope you are as well. And what sort of trainer are you after? But definitely, it sounds like... Oh, okay, so you let me know. Interesting. Aaron's here, and Shan's here, and Sam, love your commitment and generosity. Facebook for a year, you rock. Thank you, my friend. Always an appreciation of you. And Natalie's here, and Belinda, great to see you. And Sanford, awesome. And Kuno, and always great to see you, Belinda. Much love. And Rowiti, kia ora, Vanessa. Kia is important. Absolutely. And Denzel's here. Hello to you. And and I'm so sorry I can't pronounce your name. I can't read it, the Arabic I think it is, but I so appreciate you being here, and thank you for your kind compliments. And Sam, that's really beautiful for them to shower you with attention, generosity, and interest of your life. Great friends you got. Yeah, just some new friends that I just got to meet today, and such beautiful people, and definitely their generosity did not go unnoticed. Absolutely speaks volumes for character. So love that. And Lionel is here, and Aaron, sharing and giving spiritual yoga instruction to my brothers and sisters in 12-step programs. Namaste. I love that, Aaron. That is so amazing. And I've got the beautiful pleasure of getting to connect with you, and you are such a beautiful, generous soul yourself. So much love to you, Aaron, and thanks for checking in and being here. And Vanessa's here. Yay. Hey V. I feel I give and end up feeling depleted. Then I feel resentful when those around me aren't giving back. Boom. I love that you absolutely brought this up, Vanessa, because so many beautiful human beings are such givers. But what happens is when we get resentful, it's because we're expecting to get some reciprocal, something reciprocal back from that. And that's not necessarily a selfish thing, right? We all have needs, but sometimes we get into this mindset, and I hate to say it, it tends to be us women, predominantly, that we feel and expect that other people should know and reciprocate what our needs are, because we're so attuned to that. And we're so attuned to wanting to give and seeing what would make another happy or meeting their needs. But where we get resentful, that is not doing your relationships any good. It is actually doing them a complete disservice. Why I love talking into the relationship topic. But what we need to do is, instead of giving and expecting others to think the way that we do, we have to get clear on what our needs are, and knowing that love is mastering the art of both giving and receiving simultaneously without condition. We have to be open and receptive. And it's a big part of the 8-week empowerment program that I am going to be running for the second round July 23rd. I haven't actually announced it yet, but I can't wait to take you guys through that. And Vanessa, I know that you're going to be a part of that. That's so amazing, because we're going to be diving really deep in terms of being open and receptive and being able to communicate properly so that we don't do our relationships a disservice, we don't end up in resentment, and we actually have balance. We have that fair value exchange constantly going on in our lives so that we don't end up depleted, resentful, all the rest of it, which ends up killing our relationships the slow, painful way. So can't wait to have you in there, Vanessa, and thank you so much for your questions. I got some weird sunshine coming in the doors. Here we go. And Sam, how do you determine over generosity when you're loving and authentic? Absolutely, Sam. So everything in life needs to be in balance, okay? So if everything in life needs to be in balance, and we've got to be able to gauge how we feel about that giving. Genuine giving from a place of love is really just, can't really get taken advantage of, but it can get discerning in terms of seeing that people are kind of using it and not actually creating a fair value exchange naturally. So we should never be giving to get. We should be never giving with expectation, but we should absolutely be giving and also having the courage to communicate about what our needs are and giving people the opportunity to also reciprocate that generosity. So if the generosity ends you in depletion or resentment, like Vanessa mentioned, absolutely, you've got to look at what you're doing. How are you coming to the equation? We train others how to treat us. Have you communicated about how they could be reciprocal? Are they kind of taking advantage of you or you're giving from a place of fear? You're trying to get something, whether it is connection or making them like you or any of that or any of the above. We've got to build a stronger awareness within ourselves, which takes time. There's no easy pathway forward because it's very individualized. But if you feel good about your generosity, you're certainly not overgiving. If you're coming from a place of abundance and love and you're not giving to get, you're giving because it just feels natural, it feels right. You're not filtering yourself, you're not holding back, then go for it, with all resources, but make sure that your needs are absolutely met. And the best kind of relationships are ones in which we're kind of like battling. The only competition that we have is trying to outgive to the other person, and if you can find the kind of relationships in your life that are absolutely that way inclined, where we're kind of always battling like, who can outgive to the other, then you have found yourself an extraordinary quality of relationship, as opposed to the ones where we hold back and we think, I'm not giving them anything until they give me a little bit more. Those kind of relationships, they are absolutely draining to your soul. You will never feel good about it and you'll never be truly authentic. You'll always be filtering, you'll always be holding back, and you'll know it. You'll feel empty and dead inside. So you've got to go on that journey of commitment to abundance, of commitment to being totally so generous with all the resources that you have, and trust and believe that you will weed the people who would take advantage of that and not want to meet you on that path out. And you will absolutely attract over time the kind of people who you can establish a truly extraordinary quality of relationship with, who are on your page. And sometimes we just have to be the leaders in our lives to show others like the kind of relationship that we want to create, that vision, and step fully into it, show others what's possible, because most of us don't have great, generous role models in that regard. So I hope that answered your question, Sam. And yes, awesome. And Benjamin, great to have you. And Dennis and Animal, sorry if I said your name wrong. And Vanessa, you are so welcome, my friend. Absolutely, anytime. I always appreciate your questions. And Sam, what kind of generosity touched your heart in terms of time, attention, love, support, or resources? Touches my heart. All of the above. Okay, so for me, I see generosity as all of it. I've grown up, and I was just talking about this over the weekend. You guys know I've been at that event, and what we were doing was kind of clearing our past, clearing our mother and father figures to begin with. And one thing that has always been a big part of my family, like when I was clearing my dad has never actually said to me out loud in words, like, I love you, Vanessa. He's definitely written it on cards and things like that, and in messages and all that sort of stuff. But I've never in a million years questioned it. I know my dad loves me, but he gives love in different ways. And one of the ways my family tend to be very loving is generosity in finances, because we tend to be generous in our values. So my family are very safety and security orientated, and that's probably why I'm such a risk taker, but kind of balance us all out. But so they really feel like the greatest love that they can give is really around those finances, and safety and security and providing. It's kind of a very masculine generosity. But for me, that's beautiful, and I absolutely resonate with that so much. It's all of it. I love nothing more than when I get to connect with human beings who ask me questions, and they're actually interested in me and what inspires me, because in the work I do, I'm so focused on everybody else, and I love it. I fascinate over human beings, and I love that. But most of us, our favorite subject is ourselves. And so when you meet people who actually get outside the side of themselves and they really want to learn about you and fascinate over you, I think that that's truly a beautiful way of being generous as well. But yeah, thoughtfulness is so beautiful, and touches my heart absolutely, Sam. So I love that. And Diaz is here, and Quasar, loving that you're finding this a beautiful lecture. And Tavis is here. Hello to you. And Desiree, love the yeses. And Sam, love giving naturally out of abundance, love unconditionally and overflow. I know you do, my friend, and it's so beautiful to always be in your presence. So thank you for your generosity. And Haru's here. Awesome. Shine on, divine mind, gratitude. Always much gratitude and love going your way, Haru. Thank you, my friend. And Mary's here, and Josh is here. Awesome to see you. And Alonia and Sam, your feedback is gold. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and heart. You're so welcome, Sam. Thank you for finding it valuable. So guys, that really is my message for you. I hope that you will go out there, be generous with all of your resources. Don't get stuck in a scarcity mindset where you think that what you give, you lose. I guarantee you, you will receive. You've got to be open to be receiving as well, which is where a lot of people get stuck, because they need to work on some self-worth issues, some self-love issues, and feel valuable enough to actually receive. And if you don't do that work and you're constantly trying to give to prove to others and yourself that you're a good person, because deep down you're not believing it or trusting it, then at the end of the day you just end up in resentment. But there's no winning with you. From the external, people can't win with you because you're giving and you want to prove something. So you want that ability to give, but you're also expecting something, but people aren't clear on what that is. And you can't expect people to be mind readers. You've got to do the work on you, and you've got to be just as giving as you are open and receptive and appreciative to people being generous with you. At the end of the day, we receive success the same way we receive a compliment. That's a big part of what I teach in the 8-week empowerment program. We've got to work on ourselves to be receptive. Otherwise, we keep sabotaging and blocking our success. So, have a real hard look at yourself. I know many of you guys are givers, but look at your relationship with receiving as well. Can you just openly be receptive and receive graciously without having to try and give something back or diminish what somebody has given you or any of that stuff? Guaranteed, it is a major area for growth for so many of us, and I challenge you to have that really serious think on your path as well. And Chewy, thanks to be generous to all human beings. Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. I love you being here. And Nuna's here, and Dennis, the happiest people are the givers, not the getters. Yeah, I love that, Dennis. But I don't want any of us to get caught up in this mentality of we're just all altruistic and we just give all the time, but we don't need anything to be, we don't need to receive anything. That's not a fair value exchange. And at the end of the day, it's not sustainable and it kills our relationships. So be a giver just as much as you're open to receiving and being gracious. You know how good it feels to give? Well, don't rob somebody of that opportunity as well. Open up and be receptive and be appreciative when somebody wants to give to you as well, because that is love. Mastering the art of love is mastering the art of both giving and receiving simultaneously without condition. So have a good think about that, and I hope that that is of value to you guys. And Edgar from Chihuahua, thanks for sharing. Everything you give comes back to you, and sometimes the best way you are grateful with life is receiving. Absolutely. So beautifully said, Edgar, and I so appreciate you showing up as always. And Gary's here too. Much love to all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope that today's message has inspired you. So as always, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary. Hope you're getting some sunshine like I am, even though it's freezing outside here in Melbourne, turning into winter. Well, it is winter now, but I really hope that you guys are having an extraordinary quality of day, and you're going to use today's message to empower you and be generous with all of your resources. Stop holding back. It's killing you from the inside out. Give wholeheartedly, give without the need to get, but also have the courage to know what your needs are and communicate about them openly, and be open and receptive and appreciative for other people to meet your needs and give to you as well. All right, one last thing here. Zook has written, according to you, what is the most important factor to enhance our value to reach better level? Absolutely, and I love that question. So good. Thank you so much for throwing that in. Definitely, the most important factor to enhance our value is to be authentic. It is exactly why the work that I do is all about uncovering who you really are, what you really want, and having the courage to fully align with it. Because until you do that, until you are actually in alignment, you're aligning your internal world with your external world, you're devaluing yourself. So know who you are, know what matters most to you, know what inspires you, and get into alignment with that. That is when you start to actually up level the value that you place on yourself, and you can actually, have the kind of quality of relationships that we all desire to have. So if that is of interest to you, make sure that you guys are in my monthly masterclasses. We're going to be going deep on this sort of thing. Everything that I do is to help you to discover who you really are, what you really want, and have the courage to go after it. So if that is of interest to you, join us in the monthly masterclasses, starting on June 13th. I'm super excited, and you'll want to come onto the 8-week empowerment program, but that's not launching until the end of July. So I'll keep you guys in the loop as always about everything coming up. But so appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining me today. Much love to you all. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for saying hi. So appreciate you, and I cannot wait to see you as always tomorrow. Much love.